Hello and welcome to episode 58 of Entertainment of Excellence, the podcast where we talk about films, TV, all of it. Hi, I'm Ollie.
I'm Thom.
And I'm Ben.
Today we're talking about the 1973 film American Graffiti. This will contain spoilers.
Yeah, that sounds good. So this is one of George Lucas's early films, pre-Star Wars.
Damn.
Yeah. And it follows a group of teenagers. They've finished high school, and some of them go off to college. And the whole film, they're just kind of vibing. Like, I feel like the plot doesn't. I mean, there's a couple points, but there's never points where it feels like plot peaks. It's just the same level the whole way through, and you follow them around during one night as they vibe.
Yeah.
Basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
There's a few separate threads. So one is it follows Steve and his girlfriend as they're going through a bit of a rough patch because Steve wants to see other people off at college. Laurie does not want. And so they have that's kind of a whole thing. There's John Milner, who's got his car looks sick, right? he's a street racer dude, and he ends up getting stuck with like a 14-year-old girl. When he asked for if I did his car, he just kind of chills with her for a while, and people challenge him. And there's Kurt, who is desperately trying to find this like woman he saw in a car for about 2 seconds, and his whole thing is trying to find them, but he gets tangled up with like a gang called the Pharaohs. And then the final one is Terry, a Toad.
Toad.
Toad. Who manages to like borrowing Steve's car, and he kind of lies to brag a bit and gets in some trouble.
He does.
General plot.
He
Yeah.
does.
And we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Well, when I first heard about this film, I just sort of assumed that it'd be more kind of focused on them all as a group together throughout this night, but I kind of like the fact that it focused on individual stories, and I think it allowed for more stories to be told in more creative ways rather than like being confined by them always being together.
Yeah, because it's not just like individual separate stories, like they come together at points and break apart, and it all feels very natural. I never felt while watching it like, oh, we're cutting to the Steve story, or now actually sometimes I was like, we're now on the Kurt story, but it's usually fairly natural with the cuts and things between them. At first I was like, oh yeah, for the first 5 minutes I was like, yeah, this is cool. Then I realised that it was going to be the whole film. I was like, I don't know, but then after that I actually got really into it again, and I just enjoyed following these characters around. And there's some moments which are actually quite funny, which I liked, and there's some just interesting stuff that happens to these characters that where they manage to like kind of grow in believable ways, even though it's over a night.
Yeah.
It never felt like a character just something happens to them and they're like, I must now stop being selfish forever or something. I think it was all very subtle changes that were. Yeah, nodding. That'll pick up on the audio.
I'm a bit less confident on the characters' names, if I'm being honest. But I do think that I can't. What's the guy that was called Rick or something?
There's
Well, which guy are you on about?
The sort of the main guy.
Kurt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
Rick.
think.
Kurt,
yeah,
who's
Rick.
trying to get the girl in the car that showed up for 2 seconds.
No,
Who's the main guy then?
the guy with the girlfriend.
Steve.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Rick.
Steve.
So,
Steve and Laurie.
but
yeah.
I felt like he, because obviously at the start of the film you're shown that he's the one that is trying to persuade that other guy,
Kurt.
yeah, to go to college, and he's sort of more reluctant. But I think, obviously, as you were saying, just in this one night alone, you can see kind of that progression and sort of development in the characters to the point where at the end of the film it's actually sort of the reverse of that, which I didn't really. I kind of understand that the car crash was near the end of the film was kind of like that sudden, I guess, like upset that caused him to stay, but I didn't really feel like that was entirely in line with his character early on. But I guess it was quite. It was good to see that development.
Yeah, because I think it also held by just his arguments with Laurie, and then him realizing that actually more important to him than going to college would be.
Yeah.
And I think the film is all about supposed to be finding out what's important to like all of the characters and deciding where they want to go now that they've so like the whole thing with Kurt is he feels like he wants to stay because he's trying to get something close to home that will make him happy, which is symbolized by the girl in the Thunderbird or the 56 or whatever it is. You know, where it's like where he almost gets in contact with her at the end, and she's like, "Oh, I'll be cruising 3rd Street. Maybe you'll see me."
Yeah.
And it's that all the kind of thing of like, the dream is like just out of reach, and what you really need to do is just kind of go off somewhere else and find it for yourself. Like big Wolfman popsicle guy said.
Do you want a popsicle?
You want a popsicle?
I do, yeah.
He's got 6 or 7, and a whole fridge full.
Fridge full, damn.
Yeah, of popsicles. Got sticky fingers.
Sits there eating popsicle.
Ben, does your mum let you listen to Wolfman?
Nah.
Is it
Why?
because he's black?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
That's a shame. But I do. I mean, we mentioned it a bit, but I think that it was able to have some more than kind of dramatic moments and the character moments. But I think that was well balanced with points of like comedy and stuff. It never really felt that jarring. Like
Yeah.
scenes like when Kurt
Who you describe
when
them?
the guy with the glasses goes to get
Terry.
Toad.
Terry
Yeah.
/ Toad.
when he goes to get the alcohol and they can't, and then that guy just like runs in and
That was the funniest bit.
Yeah.
Comes back out with a gun and he just tosses in the booze and sprints off. And the shopkeeper comes out, he's like,
because I definitely feel like his arc, I guess you could say, was the most comedic, but then it also did have the more, especially towards the end of the film, it had
Yeah.
like some more serious points.
and yeah, because it had the thing of kind of actually is she ever named? Is she called like Debbie? I think she's called Debbie.
You're asking the wrong person.
Yeah. I feel like she's called Deborah, but I might be making that up. But she kind of says like that she did have a good time, and it obviously helped with Terry's insecurities, because then he actually started being more honest.
Yeah.
So that was cool. She's called Debbie. I'm
Well
the
done.
one that knows the characters' names.
Yeah, you are. I've forgotten what you called like Steve now.
Rick.
For some reason I had Nigel in my head.
Nigel.
No, Nigel was obviously the Harrison Ford's character.
Oh, of course.
It's interesting
Yeah.
that you think Steve was the main one, because I saw Kurt as the main one.
Well, yeah, I mean, at the start of the film, I think it was set up to be that way, but then he kind of had less of a role, I guess.
Yeah, I kind of thought the same.
I felt like Steve got less of a role as it went on because
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
he
what
just got more like.
That's literally
whiny.
what I said.
Oh, I thought you said Kurt was set up as the main one.
No.
And then
Oh man,
No, Rick.
Did like a
Nigel was.
flowchart. Right, Nigel.
Everyone should ask me before they say a name. I think it manages to like have all these different stories that are paced well, and then still have like there's like that 5-minute scene with the band just kind of vibing,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
that just because it manages to make you feel a bit nostalgic for a time I've never seen, and you know all the music, and then Mel's driving especially I thought was just like a cool backdrop for them, where they a recurring place where they'd go, where you just drive up, sit in your car, and get your food delivered to you.
Yeah.
On skates.
Skaters, Thom.
Yeah.
I do definitely think that George Lucas was really effectively able to sort of convey that nostalgia that I mean obviously it's way before our time, but I think that it's kind of a very authentic depiction of this stage in life, like teenage stage, which sometimes can be quite poorly shown in media, but I think that he was able to do it quite effectively with like obviously the characters, but then other things like the visuals and the music and just like the general aesthetic, I guess, of the time.
I mean, how old was George Lucas when he did this?
Well, I think he was 18 in 62. That's like when he went
was
off to be
29 when the film released. So he'll have been 28 during the production. So still fairly young. Did you notice the subtle reference to THX 1138?
I did, but wasn't it missing a 1?
It was missing a 1.
Oh, that's such a shame.
So sad.
Did you notice it, Ben?
No, I didn't.
The number plate of the yellow car, which is like center frame multiple times, is THX 138.
I'll be honest, I forgot that was a film he did because I haven't seen it.
I've not seen it, but it's because I want to see it. That's how I knew.
Do it on
Future episodes.
podcast.
Oh, maybe.
Lucas, we're coming for you.
We'll do the prequels.
Why the prequels? Why not do the holiday special
Yeah.
Why not do every single George Lucas film?
on one episode?
Didn't know George Lucas existed before Star Wars.
You weren't born before Star Wars. Are we doing all the ones he wrote or all the ones he directed?
Both.
Okay. Well, he wrote 178 things apparently, but has directed 21. I bet half of them will be like Star Wars things.
Yeah.
I find it whack that like I only found out recently they only directed 2 of the originals.
1.
Was it 1?
He only directed the original Star Wars.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. Yeah,
He directed 2 of the prequels. Oh no, all 3 of the prequels.
Yeah. The prequels were all definitely him, but it was only 1 of the originals.
Yeah.
It's like, damn.
I think you could see his style in this that continued through to the prequels. I think it was a pretty similar film.
CGI.
There was quite a bit, I'd say.
I thought it was really weird because it's difficult to like compare the cinematography and stuff like that. But I think the script is way different to everything else he's done.
Yeah. I think I did hear somewhere that he, like, it wasn't entirely him that was responsible for the script.
Oh, it's
and
not.
that
It's got 3 writing credits.
And his
Gloria
influence
Katz
is kind of a bit
Yeah.
overstated.
It's Gloria Katz and Willard Huyck. Huyck. I don't know how you pronounce that.
You don't.
But no, I think the script was good and kind of, you know, each character felt different. You could easily it's not like, oh, well, there's just like 5 of the same character.
Yeah.
And I think the actors did a really good job here as well. Like a really young Ron Howard. He was about 19 at the time.
With hair. What the hell?
It's a surprise they didn't get like 30-year-olds to play the teenagers.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that kind of just helps with the believability of it, along with the good script and stuff.
I mean, Kurt's actor was like 26.
Yeah,
but
like,
Ron Howard was young. I don't know about the other. It looks like some of them weren't. Oh no, John Milner was obviously a bit older, and Terry's actor was about 19 as well. So that helped. Like they were really well embodied. I don't think there were any sort of performances. They all made sense. Like John Milner, you could quite easily tell from the performance early on that he was kind of supposed to be the rough, seemingly cool guy, but is actually just looking out for everyone.
Yeah.
He makes sure, although he complains, he makes sure to look after Carol.
Yeah.
And like has sneaky ways of trying to figure out her address. A bit dodgy at times, I wouldn't say threatening to assault someone to get their address is so that you can drop them off is a good idea.
Well, I should hope not after the other things you've said on this podcast.
But yeah, you could tell quite quickly with him, and Terry's character is kind of like almost a cliche now, but 1973, I don't know if there were many other kind of high school films.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there were some, but it's a fairly early example of that type of character. It's not like it's been done a million times.
Yeah, because I mean, despite my complete inability to remember any of their names, I do think that they like a combination of the writing and the performances did make it both authentic and easy to kind of identify like the different character traits and the different like responses to the situations. And I think, how do you think the pacing of this was? Because I think that because it was sort of dealing with different simultaneous stories, it kind of always had quite a fast pace, and I think it always helped you kind of feel engaged.
Yeah, I felt like, I wouldn't say I felt like I was being like propelled forward in this intense script, but it was almost like a mesmerizing effect. I kind of just got lost in the world and started to enjoy following the characters around, whatever they did, whether it was Kurt like hijacking that police car and ripping its wheels off, or just John Milner like constantly being challenged to a race in the streets and stuff. It was just kind of fun to see what they were doing. I felt like Steve got a bit annoying. I didn't really like him.
No.
But the others are all right.
You mean Rick?
So you mean Nigel?
Can't throw me off. I know the names.
Who? Nigel's name? Or Rick's?
No. It's interesting that this film like looks really good, but it had quite a low budget. They couldn't even afford to pay all of the crew members.
I hope they got something after
They were offered to a screen credit instead of a payment.
Well, as in they wouldn't have had screen credits before?
Well, apparently, traditionally, only department heads received screen credit. But giving screen credit to so many crew members has now become a tradition.
I mean,
which
I
is
guess
why
that makes
closing
sense.
credits last so long.
Because, older films, you generally see, like, shorter credits, whereas now they go on for, like, 15 minutes.
I remember, like, Night of the Living Dead, I think. I think it had the credits at the start, and then there were no credits at the end, and that was so weird.
Yeah, because I think that's something that when you see like the trend of films becoming longer, I think you also have to factor in the fact that the credits do take up a considerably larger
because more people
proportion.
get involved and
Yeah.
actually have to get credited.
Especially given most films are, like, special effects now, and you'll have, like, a team of, like, 30 people, and you'll employ, like, 4 or 5 different teams of, like, them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Did you know that Harrison Ford was asked to cut his hair, but he refused and
Wow.
offered to wear a hat instead?
Oh my gosh, they do the same for Indiana Jones. Just really wants those luscious long Harrison locks.
This is an interesting one because it looks like it accidentally became a hit. So like, people weren't, low budget. I don't think they thought that much of the screenplay at the time, even though it turned out to be really well loved. And the studio itself actually had no idea like how to market the film or anything, which makes me think that there weren't any other high school films before.
Yeah.
That they just let it sit on a shelf for 6 months.
Because it's difficult to sort of label it coming of age because it all takes place in the stage of one night. So although quite a bit happens in that one night, you can't really... It's quite difficult to have like a massive change in these characters.
Yeah, but I think you still manage to see them mature, and it's quite impressive.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to think of other coming-of-age films I've seen, but I don't think any take place over such a short time period.
No.
But there's other films that are over a short time period and have character growth, like Peanut Butter Falcon.
Yeah.
But no, the only other film I can think of right now is Me and Earl and the Dying Girl, which is not old at all. That's like 4 years old, but that takes place over quite a long time. My mind has gone blank of all coming of age films. I don't think I've seen that many.
No. Be more inclined after watching this.
I don't know. I mean, I really enjoyed Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. I'm pretty sure I've recommended it before. And I've seen like... Yes. No, that might not be one. I just can't think of what they are. I think they're very common, so you can't just like think of them and go, oh yeah. You're more like, I'd be reminded that a film is a coming of age film.
Yeah, I can't think of any like off the top of my head that I've watched, but maybe I have and I just didn't realise it was didn't realise, but like can't really recall.
Yeah, didn't like think of it as one.
We haven't done any of the on the podcast before, have we?
I don't remember.
I'd have to look that up. On our website.
entertainmentofexcellence.weebly.com.
Yeah. How did you know that?
Because I am subscribed to the mailing list that hasn't gone out since episode 25.
Well, I wasn't even planning that plug, but you got there. So well done.
Thank you.
You think of the music? I mean, we've talked a bit about it, but
there were a lot of songs used.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah.
Is there an actual? I don't think there's actually an original score, was there?
No.
But the songs are used really effectively and kind of carry the vibe, you know.
Yeah. Because I think it's more intended to be sort of like that feel-good movie that isn't... It's kind of like easily digestible, but it has actually got quite a few themes. I definitely
and it ends
don't
up being
think...
quite melancholy as well.
We'll talk about the ending then.
Oh, well, I meant just because you only see Kurt go off at the aeroplane and he's kind of moving on, and that's like the true symbol that they've grown up. But then it shows like an end screen which says what's happened to 4 of the main characters, not Laurie, because apparently she doesn't matter.
No, she doesn't. She's a woman. A woman bad.
I mean, George Lucas wrote it, so who knows?
George Lucas doesn't like women. Damn.
I don't know. I feel like he wouldn't. But there were 2 other people that wrote it, including one woman. So it basically says like what happens to all the characters, and then it's like the first one that comes up is John Milner was killed by a drunk driver in 1964. Then Terry was like missing in action at some point in the 60s as well, I think, 1965. And then Steve became an insurance salesman.
So he died.
Yeah, Kurt definitely became a writer. I remember that, and he's living in California.
But like
it was a bit weird. I thought
my first reaction to that was like, is this a true story?
Yeah,
but then
same.
I'm thinking, what would make this so particularly special that it would be adapted into a film?
Yeah, because it's more just supposed to be a general
Yeah.
But I think they just did it as like an epilogue to show what happened to the characters.
Yeah,
I
but
guess
like, why would
it's-
you just kill off your characters?
Yeah.
It seems a bit.
I guess it's supposed to be. I don't know. I feel like it's conveying themes of the characters that I'm just not getting. It's like Milner kind of stayed where he was doing and maybe died a death because he wasn't trying anything new, but I'm not sure. I feel like them having Terry missing in action is just kind of showing that the soldiers. I feel like that's more making a statement on war and
Soldiers bad.
well, no, like war bad.
War,
hot
what
topic.
is it good for?
Hot take.
I mean,
war
I-
bad.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the most prevalent themes in the film.
Yeah,
War bad.
but I think
War
they were
bad.
just saying that at the end because kind of show that they've all grown up and been teenagers and then not had a proper chance at a life. And then Kurt, I don't know. I guess he became a writer. I guess that's supposed to be like George Lucas or something.
Kurt is just George Lucas's self.
Well, I mean, he would be 18 in 1962, George Lucas. So
Where were you in 1962?
it's actually where were you in '62?
Oh,
Because it
sorry.
rhymes. That's. It took them 6 months to come up with that.
Because where are you in '62, Ryan?
Yeah.
But it did seem to take a bit of a weird turn at the end, like with the car crash and then the.
It was just weird. It was
I
like,
think the car crash made sense.
well, I mean,
Yeah, but
I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. I'm just like not tonally. Like most of the film, like not much is happening really. They're just kind of vibing. I mean, there's like some fights and stuff, but like mainly it's just kind of vibes. And then just suddenly, randomly, there's just a huge like car crash, which like.
There's the bit with the police car though, where the wheels got torn off.
yeah,
I
but
mean,
like
yeah,
that
but,
main
like-
fight happens near the end as well. I think that like everything kind of starts to like spiral out of control, and then you sort of see like why Rick has decided to
No,
stay.
Steve.
Nigel.
Oh, sorry,
Steve.
Nige. But yeah, the ending with the
Big up Nige.
names, just I didn't really think worked that well.
Yeah, it was. If it just makes you think, wait, was this based on a true story? Then, like, you kind of just instantly view the whole film through a different lens because it's less like, oh, we're just vibing with these like kids who are like maturing and stuff, and it's like, oh, that was it. Why are we watching a film about this? What?
Yeah.
I mean, not that it like really soured the impression for me personally, but like I could see why it would like confuse other people, and it just seemed a bit out of the blue.
So another of my main criticisms would be just that I think they sort of seem to mature a bit too much in this one night, and like I think the characters seem to change a bit too much, and also I never really felt that, because I was saying earlier that I enjoyed the fact that they each dealt with their different stories in the film, but you never really got that many moments with them all together. So in that final kind of cathartic moment where one of them's leaving, it doesn't really, to me, it didn't really feel like it was that emotional, because most of the film was just fixated on their individual experiences rather than them as a whole.
Yeah, it was. I'm like, maybe it would have been a bit better if they met up a bit more and stuff, but to be
Yeah.
fair, it was just the one night and they were all kind of doing this different things, so I don't know how in the context of the story that could have.
Yeah, I feel like it would have helped if at the start when they actually were together, I was more invested.
Yeah, true, yeah.
Or
Because
they just spent a bit longer at the start with them, because the stories do kind of overlap and link, but I just I can't really remember any points apart from the start and the end when they're all together.
yeah, because I think the only problem that this film has, which isn't necessarily a problem in general, is that like the hook is the characters, so you can't have a kind of exhilarating start, because all the start can do is kind of show you what the characters are so that you can then get invested in them.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a slow burn. So when that's like the only other time that you have them all together, it's not as impactful as later on. So yeah, I agree that I wish there was a bit more with the group so you can kind of get the dynamic. But I think that any changes weren't that big and seemed justified. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still a bit like, I feel like Nigel changed.
Steve.
Rick.
Nigel / Steve / Rick changed a bit much, because he kind of like, because he was going off to college and he was wanting to like see loads and loads of like girls at college and stuff, and then he kind of by the end of the film's gone a complete 180 where he's not just like staying with his girlfriend, but he's also just not going to college. I feel like it's a big decision for just one night. Like,
Well, yeah, but you find out that it doesn't seem like he was that keen on going, though, because there's a bit where Kurt says that he's staying, and then Steve says to Kurt that Kurt had been trying to get him to go to college all year and said all of his arguments back to him. So I don't think Steve was actually that keen on going. And the main thing that got him to not go, well, I don't think that was he wanted to go to college to see loads of
he didn't
girls.
want to go to college to see, but while he was at college,
I think he was more scared of being deprived of Laurie. So
I guess, yeah.
when he kind of loses Laurie in quotation marks when she goes cruising around with Harrison Ford, that's when he kind of realizes what he really wants.
Yeah, well, I see what you mean, but I just felt like, yeah, because one of the things that really, when she had that speech kind of about why build a new home so when you've got a home, and like why make new friends when you've got friends here, I think that was quite impactful. But also, just because I never really empathized with Rick's character that much.
Nigel.
Oh, sorry.
Steve.
Shut up, Thom.
Yeah, shut up, Ben.
I need to find out how to get text-to-speech on IMDb.
So I never really empathized with him. So I never felt like I always felt like it was sort of her that, like, he was just making these irrational decisions. Like, he just suddenly decided that he wanted to go off and not be loyal to her anymore. But then, so I don't really feel like her. It wasn't really earned his change, and I don't know. I just think it was just that his character was less compelling, so it just felt a bit out of place that he would suddenly have this massive flip, and it was a lot more. I think what they were able to do with the character that ended up going was more subtle, like that he was pursuing that woman, and like the sort of what they were able to explore with that in a more nuanced way than with Rick, where it was a bit more overt, but it didn't really work as well.
Yeah,
I agree that Steve wasn't.
Nigel.
That is not IMDb speaking.
What?
This one.
Nigel.
That's,
Bobby, why
that
do you
is
keep getting it
slander.
so wrong?
what's up with you?
What's wrong,
What's
Trevor?
wrong, James?
I've lost my train of
Nigel.
thought. Laurie is the more interesting one of the two, I think, and a character you can relate to more, just because Steve was at times a bit annoying, and it's like, oh, finally he's making sense at the end. But
Yeah. Wait, who's Steve?
Nigel.
it's Ron Howard with hair.
Ah.
Oh no, don't you mean Ronnie Howard?
Oh, I was just gonna say he was credited as Ronnie Howard in the film.
He lost the NY with his hair.
But Yeah. I don't know. Is there anything else? Yes.
I think we've done a decent job with this one because like it
What
didn't
about
seem.
the cinematography?
I thought it was pretty cool. It wasn't. I wouldn't say there were. It was obviously trying to go for like big, cool shots, but I think it worked really well. And you get that wide shots of like Mel's driving, and all the driving shots are quite cool. And when the characters are looking out of windows, so I think it was pretty good. It was it suited the feeling, and it was never bad.
It was never bad.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
There you have it, guys.
It was good. I would say it was good.
I would
not,
also
like,
say it was good.
The colours were really vibrant and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the poster alone, that kind of gives off the aesthetic of the film. It's going to be very like fun. I think that's really what this was designed to be, just a fun film. Wow, I've just realised it's a 97 Metascore. That's pretty high.
It is quite high, yeah.
I'm not sure if it's deserving of that, but yeah, I mean, when I was watching it, I couldn't really think of any massive criticisms that I'd have, but I think upon reflection, there's a few that kind of stand out that maybe have dropped my rating down a bit. Also, what did you think of John with the girl? It was a bit weird.
I know. I think that he very clearly was was like more of a big brother figure, and was more interested in protecting her.
Yeah.
It
And
did have that thing where it was like,
What, like the rape?
yeah,
yeah, but that was very obviously to like get her address. I think it's definitely dodgy now, with hindsight.
yeah,
But you can see the characters just kind of doing it as a way to get her address so he can drop her off.
yeah.
At least that's how I saw it. With
Yeah.
Hopefully.
But
Hopefully
I
that's
feel
what
like if you
intended.
were a woman in that situation, yeah, you would have to give your address and not take any chances. But,
Yeah, because I think that it's easy to see his character, I guess, on the face of it, potentially, well, not necessarily like predatory, but he definitely, as the film starts, you might think, oh, he's not going to be the most likable character, but then you start to learn more about him, and I think
Yeah.
he turns out to be nicer than Rick.
yeah, like even though he calls Terry Toad the whole time,
Yeah.
he'll still like
Toad.
beat two people up to help him out. And I would say it's the way him and Carol's sections are done are way better than how it is in the film Leon, which I think is creepy. Also because the director seems to kind of sexualize Natalie Portman when she was like 12 and a half in that film, and that's really
Lovely.
weird. Yeah, but that whole thing is supposed to be about the guy isn't interested, but the younger girl is
Yeah,
as well. But I think that in this film it works a lot better and is a lot less creepy.
yeah.
Because I know Leon is well acclaimed, but I just found it weird.
Because I never really thought that she was sort of sexualized in this.
No,
It was more
no.
just, as you were saying, sort of that, I guess,
Annoying
big
little.
brother role.
Yeah, and she was
Annoying
very
little girl.
obviously like just a young girl that's like staying up past her bedtime.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
trying to act cool.
Down with the kids.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, up with the kids.
I mean,
Up with the kids.
we haven't really said that much about Toad, but I feel like he had a
Oh,
roller coaster of a night.
He did.
Yeah,
It
pick
was-
up Toad.
He had a good time with
Not the best
Debbie.
time. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, getting like his not car stolen, and then there's the thing where like Debbie kept going on about that goat murder or something in the dark, and then he finds the car and tries to steal it back by hot wiring it, and two guys show up and beat him up.
But he's got a
wait, also I
condition.
forgot about we've talked about that him trying to get alcohol.
Yeah.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was- That was one of my favourite scenes.
That was I think that was the funniest bit with the guy
Yeah.
just running out. But yeah, what? Oh, and he threw up obviously because of the alcohol.
Yeah.
Kind of gets away with drink driving.
Yeah.
But actually, oh no, he doesn't actually. No, because I remember watching the film and thinking like, did he drink and drive? But they go to the canal to drink, I think, and then the car is stolen, so he can't actually drive. Oh no, but he does drive to the drive-in before Steve takes it back. So.
Steve?
It's Nigel, not Steve, you stupid little boy, Daniel.
How long have you been waiting for him to just say Rick?
Would you have done it if we were like moved on to talk about a different film, like The Great Escape, and I said Steve McQueen?
Yeah.
So there is a bit of drink driving.
Yeah.
Naughty Terry.
Naughty Terry.
Although maybe he threw it back up. I'm not entirely sure on the workings of alcohol, but you know.
You don't know the workings of alcohol?
No, I don't know. I didn't take biology A level.
Well, you should have.
Did you take biology A level?
I did. I took biology. I got like a PhD in biology.
In A level?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, a
What was your
PhD
thesis
in
on?
A level biology.
What was your thesis on?
Mitosis.
Has that not been
I did one as
extensively
well
covered?
about how the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
Wow,
That was
groundbreaking.
Yeah, I know.
Oh no. No, he was the one that started that whole meme. It was
That's
his
where
thesis.
I was in
Oh.
'62.
Well, I actually wrote. See, I didn't do biology, and instead I wrote my thesis on THX 1138, which is how I managed to pick up on the subtle reference.
Despite
in
not
American
seeing it.
Graffiti. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I just read the IMDb description.
In 62.
Yeah.
Right, shut the hell up, everybody, and get ready for rating and that.
Whoa.
Ollie has been a good boy and updated the website, so we
I've-
now actually have every rating in order.
Whoa! It was very exciting when I got to see that, and we now have another bit of a gap between 2 and 1.
Can't remember. I can't remember whether I sorted out the link. You know how Robot Monster used to link to the social networks? Does it still, or did I change it?
Isn't that an Easter egg?
No, you changed it,
Oh.
you evil.
Oh no!
I'll change it back. Sorry.
Please
No,
do.
because I remember trying to figure out what my individual rating was on Robot Monster, and I just couldn't.
Well, do you think this one compares to Robot Monster or the social network?
Well, the social network. What? Oh
That's
yeah,
like
because it
linked,
links to.
isn't
I was like, that's not next to Robot Monster. I actually enjoyed this more than the social network.
Same.
I've been looking, and I think.
I don't even think I need to speak because I've just ripped on the social network every time it's brought up.
I've watched so many rankings of like Fincher now and movies of the decade, and it always ends up at the top, and I've no
Why?
idea
It's
how.
just such
It
a
annoys me.
it's just such an average film.
Yeah.
I feel like we're out of the loop. Like there's some secret conspiracy of.
I mean, to be
film
fair,
critics.
you used to like defend it a lot more, Tom. But like,
I don't think I mean, I defended it as not a bad movie, but I mean, I gave it a 7.5, the same as Ollie.
yeah, I guess.
So we've got quite a few higher rated films on there.
We're thinking higher than 7.5 for this.
I am thinking 7. I'm thinking higher than 7.5.
Okay,
mean,
Pete.
I think I
I
enjoyed
think
it.
6.75. I stand by that.
I enjoyed it about the same as Nightcrawler, I think.
Ooh.
I've got to decide if I liked it more or not. What did I give Marriage Story? Oh, I gave that an 8. I gave that the highest one. And what did I give Stalker? I gave that an 8. Okay, so I think that I might give this film... Ooh. I think I'm going to give it a 7.8.
What did I give Nightcrawler, Ben?
You gave it an 8.
You have an 8.
Well, I think it's lower than that, definitely, but
7.8.
8. I'll go for a 7.6, so it's slightly higher.
Yeah, well, I was thinking that mine might be the highest rating because it sounds like I enjoyed this film the most.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna be evil again and give it a 7.2.
What?
I mean, it was technically good, and I mean, it's kind of warm to me. Like now, I've had it like stew in my system for an hour and stuff. But like, I still just it's not really my type of film. I prefer stuff that's either like artsy or like straight up like actiony. I think I felt like just vibing with the characters got a bit like boring after a bit.
Like
Yeah.
vibing.
It didn't really seem like a film at times. It was more just, I don't really know. It's just like you have to experience it more than really dissect it, which is what we've been doing for like 40 minutes now. So
Am I gonna go 7.2? Am I gonna go 7.1?
Whoa!
Because I just realised I gave
what a change!
I gave A Quiet Place a 7.0, which means that I must have enjoyed this more than A Quiet Place, but I don't know if I did.
You give A Quiet Place so low.
I don't know. What did I give A Quiet Place top 2? I must have given it the same, I think. I did. I'm gonna go 7.1.
Damn.
What,
The average.
what did you guys give it?
I gave it a 7.8, and Ollie gave it a
7.6.
7.6. Is this gonna make it average out?
7.5.
I was gonna say.
There
This is
we
gonna
go.
put it, I was like, oh,
We had
maybe
a
this.
break from the 7 range last week, but we're
Yeah.
back.
I was like, maybe this can go above 7.5. That'll be exciting. But
No.
then Ben goes, no, 7.1. Oh,
Who was your favourite character?
Toad.
Really?
Obviously.
Rick?
Yeah.
It's Nigel, not Steve, you stupid little boy.
You didn't even say Steve.
Who's Steve?
Steve, don't you mean Nige?
No.
You mean Rick?
Anyway, is there
Anyway.
a submission spotlight, Ben?
Yeah, so we had loads of submissions last week. A grand total of 0, as
Oh, that
always.
was us.
Yeah, there was us.
Oh yeah, we did. We submitted ourselves.
We still haven't done the submission from the comments on episode 50.
There was a submission?
Have a look now. I'm pretty sure that you
What, on
replied
YouTube?
to it, yeah.
I'm scared. What is it?
Oh, this is tense.
See, this is what you can do when you're in person.
Yeah, live on the air.
That's why
Comment
we're so
checking.
creamy. Can feel every nuance of our creamy voices. I'm scared. What is it? Episode 50. Best full dating hot girls love sex 18cams.xyz. I'm scared to go on that even with a VPN. And it's got the same thing in Japanese and then Chinese underneath it.
The pinned comment.
Thanks for the support. It really means the world to us. We'll check out your website in the next submission spotlight. So Tom, do you want to load that up on your phone?
No. I'm alright.
How do we critique that, do you think?
Oh, I'm afraid I'm not going to do it on mine. So
Oh.
Ollie, it's up to you.
Think of the grammar.
I think we might have to leave it till next week.
Best full dating hot
We can
girls
rate the comment.
love sex.
Yeah,
So-
not too. I think that needs a bit of improvement, honestly.
Oh,
Just a
don't
bit
be
of
so
improvement.
critical. They've taken the time out of their day to submit something to us. The least we can do is
Yeah, but I
nice.
wouldn't like. This isn't as good as Tonky Honk Tractor. You know?
Yeah, well,
How do you think it compares to Chrome?
黒いハート今後は気をライブ配信の再編ありがとうです
this is the bit in Japanese underneath
ラ
it.
イブ配
Why have you translated it to
信
Swedish?
かなりやばかったですね
Is that still from when you
超える人が
translated
見ていても
Joker into
笑いやっ
Swedish?
ぱり隣人最高
What?
Thank you
What
for
the hell?
reorganizing the live stream.
Are you ready for the translation? Thank you for reorganizing the live stream in the future. The live shut up. The live stream on that day was ridiculous. More than 10,000 people were watching it.
No way.
Laughs. After all, carrots are the best. I was thrilled that I forgot to turn off the camera and did one.
Oh dear! I just.
Oh no, they did a carrot.
Yeah, I think they did do a
Come
carrot.
on,
no,
let's
what
see
is
what the
this?
Chinese says.
在整个人
Throughout human history. Oh my gosh, are you ready? Are you ready? I'll do a David Attenborough. Throughout human history, the strong, the rich, and those with cunning traits prey on the weak in tribes, clans, towns, cities, and villages, without guarding and poor members. However, the human will to survive forces those who have been rejected, deprived, or destroyed with basic needs to find a way of life and continue to integrate their DNA into the ever-evolving human society. When it comes to food, don't think that those who are rejected only eat garbage. Instead, they learned how to They learnt how to look for nutrients in neglected meats and vegetables. They learnt to clean, cut, season, and slow cook wild vegetables.
Oh, this is what the carrot bit's about.
Household vegetables and meats that were neglected in the food market, and learned to use aromatic wood smoke, such as pecans, and mesquite.
Aromatic wood smoke such as pecans.
To season the food while cooking. 161834054.
Is that a reference to George Lucas's film?
在整个人类历史上，
What?
强者
Look that up. That must be
富人
something.
和具有
This is a bit of a
狡猾
tangent on the
特质的
podcast,
Thank you
but-
so much for that
It is our
submission.
submission
Yeah.
spotlight section.
镇
We're that
城
desperate
市
that-
和乡村中的弱者，不上据点守
It's a book
和
on
族群
anthropology?
成员。然而，人类的生存意愿迫使那些被拒绝、
It is.
或摧毁
It's on Reddit, right? Literally, like an excerpt from it. Throughout human history, the strong, the weak, and those with cunning traits. And the original text is here.
That's on r/what's the book though. What do the comments say?
Okay. So, we'll just skip recommendations because this is actually quite interesting, right? The excerpt is an exact auto-translation from Chinese text found in a spam comment on YouTube advertising a catfishing service. It seems to be taken from somewhere and added right after click here only adult, possibly to bloat the comment size for unknown reasons. Having reported the comment, now I really want to read a book written like this if it exists. I thought I was the only one curious about this, Lamau. I've seen these stupid ass bots commenting this.
What? So this is a thing. When was that posted?
This was posted 3 months ago on r/what's that book.
Whoa.
But that's cool though.
Well,
I wanna
Thanks for that submission. We really appreciate
a
it.
Chinese. Let's try the Japanese one now.
Oh, is there still more? How long is the comment?
No. We've gone through everything, but like the Japanese one was a bit more weird. But
Oh, okay.
let's see if
Oh, wasn't I thought the Japanese one was just. More
Thank you for reorganizing the live
No,
stream.
that's definitely promoting a saucy stream, Ben.
Yeah. But
Don't,
like,
okay, he's looking it up.
nah. This morning, Holly Willoughby and Philip Schofield in
Oh.
hysterics over rude vegetables. Yes, Philip.
Oh wow.
I want to read that book on anthropology, though. I feel like that's a good submission spotlight. So come on, guys.
Cool.
What's our constructive criticism?
I feel like they should have included the whole book.
Yeah.
If I'm honest, in the comment.
Yeah, I think also an English translation would have been good, or at least like a Japanese translation if they're also writing in Japanese.
Yeah, I think sticking to one consistent language would be useful.
Yeah, because like, and also I'm not so sure about the tonal shift between best full dating hot girls to thank you for organising this 10,000 viewer live stream to throughout human history humans have like farms for pecans or whatever.
Keeps you engaged though, you know. If it,
Yeah.
I feel like
It's at least as good as Chrome.
no, it's better than Crown. Let's be honest. Sorry if you're listening, whoever made Chrome, but like we're gonna
Mr.
like
Google.
yeah, come on. Chrome Death Wish. Let's see if they've actually made the second one now. Show Chrome. Oh, that's on IMDb. Okay. Who is the creator? Timothy Hines. Sorry, Timothy.
Sorry, Big Tim.
Big Tim. Come on, please. Have you done the second episode now? It was meant to come out January.
Too bad. They won't release it until you give Chrome a
How
good
has it
rating.
not come out yet?
You need to give it a 10 out of 10 rating on IMDb first.
Yeah, but it's
Fine.
difficult when you compare it to something like that comment we've just read. I mean,
The comment had good special effects.
What would you rate it on IMDb?
a comment?
Yeah.
Is it on IMDb is the question.
I mean, I'm not sure about IMDb, but if there's something for like books that's like that, anthropology books in Chinese.
Yeah. Is this why you rated 2001 below a 10? Is this the thing you found that you
Yeah.
enjoy more than 2001?
Yeah, I bet you're regretting it now, Tom. Not leaving in
Yeah,
that
well,
room.
Right, fine.
I'm gonna have to change my ratings to out of 11 now.
All right, come on, Timothy. I'm giving you a 10 out of 10 rating.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's a 10 to the power 0. That out of 10.
Yeah, exactly. No one cares about maths. So.
Yeah, exactly. They won't see
Right.
the little 0 in the corner.
Well, thanks for listening, guys. If you have a submissions spotlight, please submit it. Thank you.
Are there
Yeah.
any time for recommendations? Ben?
I've got a recommendation.
You've got a
So do I.
recommendation? Damn. All right, recommendation
I've
time.
actually got 2. I'll be speedy. I don't know how long we're on. Oh,
Hey,
right.
we're actually making it to the time.
Yeah.
We're doing well.
So I finished the show Atlanta, which is really good. That follows mainly follows the character Ern, who becomes a manager for his cousin Al, aka Paperboy, in like his rap career. So it's kind of like a comedy drama and has some interesting, like, it goes between very plot episodes to more like concept episodes, whether that be very obviously a concept such as one episode set entirely within a TV show, or other ones like a character kind of getting lost in the woods and having a surreal character journey, or like basically just a short horror film. But the whole episode, the whole series is like really well written, and the characters are well developed, and it's got the big man Lakeith Stanfield from Sorry to Bother You, and also Short Term 12, which these two haven't seen but I have recommended before.
Sorry to bother you. Is pretty good. So yeah.
And Lakeith Stanfield is pretty cool. He's in it. Obviously, Donald Glover like writes and directs some of it, or a lot of it, and stars
Donald
in
Glover.
Atlanta. So if you're a Donald Glover stan, then you should watch it. But yeah, really good. Also, cinematography's great. So watch Atlanta. And then the other thing I watched was Mitchell's versus the Machines, which was created by Into the Spider-Verse, and that was really good actually. It's not as good as Spider-Verse, but that's a very high bar.
It was created by the Spider-Verse.
The people that animated, it's the same studio, and it shows it's still got the creative like animation techniques. I remember there's one where one of the characters gets like really angry, and then it just shows them like 2D, huge and above their house, like causing havoc to like display the anger. And there's loads of cool little animation things like that. And I think it's a lot more of like a comedy than Into the Spider-Verse was, and I think it reaches like, it's got funnier bits in than Spider-Verse, but also more of the jokes miss. It's not as solid. I think it's not that many, but there's a few I'm like, I'm not sure about that. But most of the time, really funny jokes, solid characters, good family dynamic, and also for like a kids film that's like a U, or it might be a PG, very just openly anti-corporate and anti like big tech, like storing private data and stuff. It gets into that, which I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, that's a good movie, so you should watch that. It's on Netflix. Atlanta is on Disney Plus.
Right.
Nice.
I'm not sure if either of you have seen my recommendation, but it's Synecticut, New York.
Oh yeah, I want to watch that.
It's so I think it's my 5th Charlie Kaufman film, because we've done 3 on the podcast now.
Oh yeah.
And it's it's not necessarily, it wasn't the best received like critically and commercially. Like I don't think it really made that much money on the box office, but I've seen like definitely in like the YouTube
Yeah,
community.
it's your movie sucks. It's
Yeah.
favourite film, I think.
It's his second favorite, I think, because he did
I
a
don't know what his
5.
first one is.
He did a 5 like video series breaking it down, but like he hasn't finished it yet. The last one
Yeah.
was released like 4 years. I've watched those videos and they're really good. Also another YouTuber called Carlson Runquist, I think it's his favorite film, but it's basically I wouldn't say it's my favorite Kaufman, but it's I think it's probably Kaufman's closest to horror in my opinion, because it deals a lot with especially like the most prominent theme of it is definitely death and like that constant fear and like anxiety surrounding that like approach, like imminent death in the case of this character, but it also has like different like views and approaches to death, which is quite interestingly explored. And I think because it's basically tells the story of this theatre director who's issued a grant to build a recreation of New York City for these actors to produce a play, but as it goes on, the boundaries between like the play and his own reality are blurred. And I think something that it does really interestingly and is one of the most effective things is like how it deals with the passage of time. Even right from the start, you see like it's very subtle way. It does some in very subtle ways and some a lot more explicitly. But things like a character will go outside to get a newspaper, and by the time they've come in, you'll see on the newspaper that a day's already passed. And you sort of see like the way that time passes around you. This protagonist is a lot faster than you'd perhaps expect. And I like a lot of the general criticisms of Kaufman films probably apply. Like, is it pretentious? Like maybe, yeah, because it has the same thing of like not really having a clear-cut story and leaving a lot ambiguous and stuff. And again, it's probably a bit self-indulgent, not only in terms of how it deals with like in this case screenwriting, which I think it doesn't do as much as something like adaptation, which dealt with that a lot, but also just the idea of like that fear of death, which is like pretty like universal. So I think that it does have really interesting concepts and themes, and I think the way that the story is told is obviously a very imaginative and unique style, like a lot of his other films. So yeah.
Would you say it's even more of a horror than like I'm Thinking of Ending Things?
In my opinion, yeah. But I think it did definitely remind me of that one the most. Just because, like, well, I don't really want to say too much about it because
Yeah.
there's quite a lot. Well, it's not necessarily giving stuff away because a lot of it's open up to interpretation, but I think that's probably the one that's most comparable to, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've been wanting to watch it.
Will do.
How did you watch it?
Prime.
Is it on Prime?
Yeah.
Done.
There's also other films I found out came out on Netflix, so I've got loads of films to watch. Anyway.
Yeah, I've got a lot of stuff to watch as well. Mainly series, though.
Yeah, same. I've also got a TV series to watch. I'm a bit bogged down.
Yeah, well, I mean, I still haven't seen, like, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and that came out, like, a few months ago. So.
Yeah.
Well, Tom, have you watched any of the new Rick and Morty?
I haven't actually. I've been wanting to watch it. I think I've recorded it.
I've seen the first 3, and
What do you
pretty
think?
good. Yeah, pretty
Cool.
decent.
Watch it though. And I need to
Have you
finish
seen
Inside
it,
Number
Ben?
9.
Your favourite show? Oh,
Of course I have.
really didn't like the last episode of Inside Number 9,
Oh.
season 6. But
I think I watched half of the season. Anyway, any recommendations, Ben?
I mean, have you recommended Arrested Development before?
I don't.
Think
If I have, it would be very early.
On the off chance Tom hasn't, then Arrested Development is good. It's
I agree.
It's a TV show about like what's the intro go like a wealthy family who lost everything and one son who had to keep them all together.
Yeah.
It's mainly just like a comedy, kind of. I wouldn't say it's drama really.
No, it's just
comedy. About like just like this family called the Bluths, and like there's each character's like ridiculous in a different way. Like the main one's Michael, and he's kind of, I guess, the sensible one, and there's like Job, who's a magician.
Job is great,
Yeah. Buster is like overly dependent on his mother and hasn't really grown out of like infanthood. And obviously there's the mother and father who are both like narcissists. Well, the mother is mainly, and the father's just a sketchy guy. The series opens with him going to jail, and you just find out he's done loads of like sketchy things.
He worked with like Saddam Hussein.
Yeah, he sold houses to Saddam Hussein.
What's David Cross's character called?
Tobias.
Oh, Tobias. Yeah, he
like,
joins the Blue Man Group.
Lindsay is Michael's twin sister, who's kind of a narcissist as well. And her husband Tobias, who's like kind of like a really effeminate actor type. Well, he wants to be an actor, but he's just terrible. He gives up his career as a psychologist to become an actor for like the Blue Man Group, but
which he thought was a depression support group.
Yeah. And then of course there's George Michael, Michael's son, and his cousin Maybe, and he has a crush on her. So there's weird like incest themes in like the first like 2 seasons where he's like just crushing over his cousin. Like it starts off with like she's just like, oh well, maybe we should just like get them to notice us. Like, what if we kissed? Blushing emoji.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, oh,
He's
well,
like,
what if you kissed again to teach them a lesson? You know. There's like a lot more characters they introduce. For the sake of time, I'll just like.
And they
keep
love
it short.
wordplay. Loads of wordplay.
Yeah.
Was that your cousin? Maybe. That's his cousin, maybe.
And then, so it ran for 3 seasons originally. And the link to this film is it has it's narrated by Ron Howard, who makes a cameo as himself in the 4th season and 5th. And I mean, I've only just started the 5th. I've just finished the 4th. But like, okay, so the 4th was it was bought by Netflix and it was revived in like 2015, but they had to recut the whole 4th series because it was too confusing. But like, I feel like the recut is still too confusing. So it's like, I definitely recommend season 1 to 3, although I wouldn't so much 4. It's just like they're trying to fit so much going on in like one season, and like it doesn't really work. I mean, there's still some good like one-off jokes and stuff, but I feel like the quality just isn't as good.
Yeah, it's also because it's like 10 years after the 3rd season.
I mean, they like address that quite well, I think, because like I won't spoil anything, but like the 3rd season ends up with like a load of them on a boat, and the start of the 4th is just like, and that time at sea had clearly aged George Michael.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it's because he's 10 years older. It's a lot taller and has a beard. But yeah.
Should we wrap up?
So, watch that. Cool. Yeah. So, thank you for listening. All right, see you.
All right,
See you.
All Nigel, see you.
Well, Steve's here.
Bruh. 1 sec. Bruh.
Nigel.
Alright, see ya.
All right, see ya. Yeah, that's entertaining.